Protesters hit the streets in Dallas and across the country tonight, one day after the deadly shooting involving an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Here's the latest as we know it. Local officials in Minneapolis say they are reviewing their options after the federal government announced it would not work with the Minnesota agency that investigates officer-involved shootings. Also today, we're learning the officer behind the shooting was seriously wounded in another on-the-job encounter involving a vehicle last year. And today, Vice President J.D. Vance talked about the woman who was killed, saying it was a tragedy of her own making. We're going to have the very latest out of Minnesota in just a moment for you. But first tonight, protesters have just begun marching in the streets of Dallas. Fox 4's David Santendry joins us now live from there. We can hear him right behind you, David.
Hey, Heather and Steve. Yeah, I can tell you that organizers of this protest did not expect this many people to come out. They say this is the largest gathering they've ever been a part of. They were expecting maybe 100 to 200 people, but behind me here at Dallas City Hall, just a rough guesstimate might be 400 to 500 people right now. It's steadily been growing throughout the night. Of course, this is an anti-ICE protest. That's the message from people who are here in this crowd after seeing that video and what we saw unfold in Minneapolis. Again, this is their feelings, their emotions. They're talking about not only what happened there, but what's happening here in their backyard, a very anti-ICE sentiment that they are spreading. I was talking with organizers of this protest before it even got started, and they were telling me that, hey, they want ICE out of Dallas. And I was asking, all right, well, under what grounds do they want ICE out here just no matter what? Are they okay with violent criminals being arrested? They wouldn't necessarily answer the question directly, just saying they want ICE out of Dallas. So I think what you're looking at right now is video of these protesters taking it to the streets. So this started off as a stable protest outside of City Hall with some speakers talking and getting their talking points across. And then after about an hour or so, it spilled into the streets. I asked beforehand if they were planning on doing this, and they told me no, that they did not plan on going into the streets. But just to be quite frank with you, I think at most protests I've covered, organizers say they don't plan on going to the streets, and then it oftentimes does. So they had a police escort as they did about a mile loop throughout the downtown area. We did not see any violence with officers or any people any residents on the street. So it was just a lot of chanting. We didn't see anything getting thrown, nothing like that. But certainly an emotional crowd who are trying to talk about what they feel unfolded in Minneapolis and just ongoing situations here in Dallas. Take a listen to what one organizer had to say about an hour and a half ago.
We all saw this video. We know this is a complete and utter lie. This is a narrative they are trying to sell us, and we will not buy it.
So again, protesters took to those streets for a while, for about 1 mile. They circled around downtown Dallas, and it was just within the past 10 or 15 minutes we ended up right back here at City Hall, where things appear to be dwindling down. Some people are leaving, but there are still some people on a megaphone talking, getting more points across, so it's unclear how long they will be out here for. There is a mild police presence on the outskirts, but one thing I can tell you for sure with any protest that we see here in DFW, Dallas police are monitoring, even though you might not always be able to see them. I'll give you an example. About an hour and a half maybe before the protest, we were out here and I saw a large convoy of Dallas PD vehicles going not too far from here. You can tell they were just sort of being on standby just in case something were to happen. We even saw DPD units that have horses out here. So they were ready probably for all sorts of situations, but thankfully from what we have seen, there has been no physical violence here at this protest. I will talk about one thing that I got in my hand, not sure if I'm on camera or not, or if we're showing video, but one thing I'm going to hold up right here is a whistle that is being dispersed to many people out here. Whistles like this are being dispersed to protesters. So you might ask what for? Well, they're saying this is to take home with them because they want people in their communities to use these whistles whenever ICE is in their neighborhood. So again, this is just the message from the protesters out here, a very much defiant tone and actions toward ICE officials out here. We're going to hang out for a little while longer because this has not dispersed yet, but it does appear that it is dwindling down for the moment. But for now, Steve and Heather, I'll send it back to y'all.
Okay. David sent Henry. If we need to get back there, you let us know. Thank you.
Meantime, tensions are running high across the country in the wake of yesterday's deadly shooting.
Video showing the moments leading up to the death of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, sparking outrage and protests. Minnesota lawmakers are demanding to be part of the investigation, while the White House is firmly standing its ground on the feds handling it. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel live in studio with the latest on that. Casey.
Steve, Heather, good evening. The shooting no doubt has sparked raw emotion in the streets. We have seen that. And now a deepening political and legal fight over who has the authority to investigate. Anger boiled over in Minneapolis less than 24 hours after a federal ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good during an encounter. Video of Wednesday's incident taking the internet by storm. No! No! And added fuel to protests and confrontations with law enforcement.
We are not going to stand down. This is our city. They came and invaded our city. They are an occupying force, and we see them as such. They will be treated as such.
Minnesota's governor is raising alarm over what he calls an unprecedented exclusion of state authorities from the investigation.
I think it's clear to everyone as they saw this that it feels now that Minnesota has been taken out of the investigation. It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome.
State leaders say the feds have all but shut them out.
They do have all the evidence in the original investigative notes and reports. We have none of that. They have shared none of that with us.
The White House is strongly defending the agent's actions. Vice President J.D. Vance, without naming the agent, implying he had good reason to, quote, act in self-defense.
She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before.
Court records show that same agent was seriously injured this past June, dragged by a vehicle for at least 50 yards during a different operation. It's not clear how long he was off the job, much less how or when he was cleared to return to duty. Demands for answers grow louder as more of the story is revealed, but many say in order to be effective, it must be peaceful.
I think that's the respectful way to do this. We want to make our voices heard, but we absolutely do not want to add to what is already a firestorm.
So the Hennepin County Attorney says her office will continue to explore ways the state investigation can move forward, even if the FBI is not sharing its investigative findings. Steve, Heather.
All right, Casey in studio, thank you.